Angela and Pinky. Angela and Pinky. The back to back was giving old school housewives, honestly. I felt like I was seeing a scene from what season was it? Season 7 or 8 when they were in Puerto Rico, between Nini and Claudia. But anyway, I digress. Ladies and gentlemen, my name's OJ. Welcome back to my channel, and this is my review on Real Housewives of Atlanta, episode number 5 for season 17. So in this review, I'm literally just going to take it from as like the show went on. I'm probably not going to go scene by scene. I'm just going to talk about the scenes that I found were very interesting, or things I found funny, or things I don't know, I just wanted to interact with really, or like comment on, shall I say. So just taking it from the very top, obviously we open with Cynthia, um, Adrian Malouf, and Phaedra. They all meet up to talk about Cynthia's upcoming gala that she was going to have to, I guess, launch her tequila that she's doing with Adrian's family, because I believe they own like a alcohol business, or they do something within like the alcohol industry, which I think is pretty cool. Like it's good to see, people still being able to work and doing what they love. So, hats off to Cynthia. And speaking of Cynthia, I loved her most recent, or she debuted, was it two this episode? Only one. I feel like the blonde one was from last episode, but I'm just gonna say two for now. But she, in the last two episodes, debuted two new looks, and I really like the short finger waves that she had, with the pinstripe suit. It to me gave really MJ sort of vibes, and it's funny as well because it's like a nice coincidence now with MJ's movie coming out. Like it sort of felt like I was like, oh, was this intentional, or was it just like it just so happened that they wanted to do this at this time? But I thought it was cute. Like she looks stunning. Cynthia looks stunning in anything, honestly. So she could never really do a bad look, in my opinion, other than like ones or twos, but it's not that big. Um, Also with Adrian, I did not know. I only knew that it was Adrian because I knew that Cynthia um was doing business with her family, and obviously they then talked about Dallas, and then they talked about doing like the gala and everything. That's how I sort of put two and two together, because I felt like I didn't recognize Adrian, because I remember her, though I didn't watch Beverly Hills. I knew of her name, like I knew who she was. So once I saw her, I did not really recognize her until I think she must have done like some work to her face, or maybe she just because of the tan, or maybe I just don't really know what she looks like other than from a few years ago. So I guess it was good to see her, and Phaedra was there as well. Um, while they were there, obviously talking about other things, Phaedra calls Pinky. She says that Pinky is a bird, and she says, and I quote, "Who cares? Do you have some money in your bank account? That's what I need to know." Which is funny, especially coming from now the perspective of Phaedra knows, or we know that Pinky has filed for bankruptcy at that time of the when they were doing the filming the show, and now at this present moment it has come out that she actually has. But I think Phaedra was referencing when allegedly Pinky owes $87,000 in rent to, like, obviously the people that she is renting her the property that she uses as her restaurant from. So yeah, that was interesting that Phaedra said that. I'm like, what is going on there, Pinky? Um, Also, while they were at this brunch get together, they talked about the theme being Dynasty Gala, and I immediately had to Google it because I had no idea what Dynasty was or what they were talking about. And I guess when I Googled it now looking at everyone, I could see that they kind of all came on theme, in my opinion, or tried to match the theme as best as they could. For the most part, I think they did it, but I could be wrong. What do I know? I don't know not much about Dynasty, but that's it. Also, in the earlier scenes, um, Pinky says that she has masculine energy, and obviously, I'm a man. Um, but from my perspective, looking in, and especially from the last episode when Pinky and Derek were talking about her filing for bankruptcy, and she sort of didn't want his help when he offered to pay her the 5 million or whatever. I'm like, is this where like the masculine energy is at play? Is this what we're seeing? Like that was just what I'm wondering when she said that, because I was like, that's very very interesting. So then from there, it then shows all the girls like slowly one by one arrive. They all arrive at I think it's the airport, wherever they arrive, because from wherever they arrived at, they all then made their way over to the private jet. and then took the private jet to Dallas. I think it was so cool that they took a private jet. I like that. Obviously, you could tell that the private jet was catered for. Like on the plane, they had food to eat, and then when they all got off in Dallas, I saw them all like leave with like boxes. I believe boxes of flowers each. So honestly, good luck. Good luck again. Well done, Cynthia. Like it's nice to see them. How do I say? Like a well thought out trip, and yeah, things of that nature. Really. Um, it was so funny when Pinky started crying on the plane. And Drew made her commentary on what kind of prayer that she felt Pinky was giving. It really was giving like a full on prayer, like a long prayer before they took up. But it's nice. I personally believe in the power of prayer. I believe in blessing everything and sanctifying everything before you either travel or you set off. Like literally, when I do travel, I always call my mother and my father and like, hey, can we just have a quick prayer? Because you just never know. You genuinely never know. Like every time you leave your house and you come back safely, that is literally the most underrated blessing of all time. I don't care what anyone says. I personally believe in that. Obviously, while on their plane, that's when they get to chit chatting, and then they ask Angela about her business, and then she then obviously reiterates how she had lost the $2 million of her own money due to I guess the houses going under and all that. And then Pinky then informs them more about bankruptcy, and her bankruptcy, and she explains how well her reasoning for doing it. Which like I'm not really well versed on the whole bankruptcy thing. I did Google, and let's see. Hold on. According to Google, I googled bankruptcy in America because I live in Australia. I'm Australian, so I did the shows in America. It says that bankruptcy in America is a legal process designed to give individuals or businesses a fresh start. When they cannot repay their debts, it is handled through federal courts, and filing for it instantly triggers an automatic stay, which stops creditors from pursuing collection actions like lawsuits, wage garnishment, or foreclosure. Which makes sense with the way Pinky explained, I guess, what was going on with her business and how she was running her multiple businesses and how she was getting paid. I'm not going to go like word for word for what she said because I might get my information wrong, but it made sense. And then you had what's her name, Shamier, in the corner, like damn. No, I'm being nervous. I'm nervous about my business, Shamier. I think you'll be fine, honestly. I think that with your business and what you're trying to starting on, I guess, somewhat of a smaller scale, maybe one thing at the time, I think you'll be fine. And you have Gerald, so you're okay, I guess. Uh. And then while they're talking, obviously they then Angela does her input on her bankruptcy story as well, which was interesting. I did not know that, but then it also makes sense for Angela. And then they get to a point where they ask Hey Michelle about prenups, and while they do ask her if she signed a prenup with her new husband that she literally married like weeks ago at the time of filming, and she said that she did not do a prenup, which I don't know. Me personally, I find very interesting. Like, okay, I'm not at the level that these ladies are. I'm not at the point making that kind of money just yet, but I personally would think that it is a smart, wise decision to have a prenup just to protect yourself, especially if you have children like Kay Michelle does, or if you have your own businesses that you started well before you entered into this marriage. Like, I think it's a no-brainer. But at the end of the day, to each his own with how they think their relationship will work, or how they want their relationship to work, or what they want to do with it. Like, it has, to each his own. Like, I wish them well, and I hope that, God forbid, if anything goes down the road of them having to split up, like I hope it doesn't turn into like him trying to take what she has, or this and that. So I really wish them well. Also, while they were talking, Kay Michelle explains that this man is so far removed from her life in a way. Like apparently, I don't think he has social media, and she was saying, I guess to the effect of like how sneaky things can be with like people with social media. But honestly, if someone wants to be sneaky with or without social media, they can do that. Like, how do you think people cheated back in the day? How do you think people had affairs with like entire families? I feel like not having social media, it makes it easier to do it, in my opinion. I've never really participated in those activities, so I wouldn't know. But when K Michelle said that, I was like, if someone wants to cheat, they will find a way with or without social media. Like, it really, really genuinely doesn't matter. But yeah, that was interesting to me that she said that. And also, I guess in a way for me, like, I still have questions about this man, in the sense of, she had mentioned earlier they had been together for a substantial amount of time, I believe 10 years or so, and he was either slow or maybe refused or something to commit to marriage. It took her having to leave him, and then I guess she went and dated someone else, and then they then came together, and it kind of like sounded like she gave an ultimatum, and then obviously they did end up being married. They are married now. So my thing is that, wouldn't that be sort of more of a reason to want to have a prenup, just because from the way the relationship or marriage came to be, it was like such a drawn long process to get to the finish line of marriage. But like I said, I don't know. What would I know? And then also, while on the plane as well, they, I guess, started talking to Drew, asking Drew about this man Black. I promise you, I'm no offense to Drew, I don't want to talk about him, so we'll just skip right along, moving right along. And the thing I want to mention as well was Kay mentioning that he was in her DMs back in whatever day it was. Like, that's interesting, but whatever. Um, so obviously they then land in Dallas, and then they then had to take a bus quite a long way, all the way to the house. I forgot what the house is called, but it was a long way, because it was at one point where it probably seemed like maybe 30 minutes or so, and they're like, "How much longer?" And they said like 20 minutes. They had to stop at a service station. Well, in Australia we call them service stations. I believe in America they call them gas stations. So they had to stop at a gas station to get some, not to get some, but to pee and all that. And then Shamia then like gave the explanation that her family owned trucking companies with like throughout her years of growing up, and she was saying how it's very dirty. And I believe her, because there is no way I would be sitting, like, if I needed to sit down and pee, there is no way I'd be sitting down on those disgusting, nasty stations, like station toilets, I meant. And Shamia then having to motion how like she would put a cup between her legs. Shamia is funny, like, she can be corny, but I also find her funny at times, so she's fine by me, I guess. Where are we? So obviously they arrive at the house. The host greets them at the door and like basically welcomes them to her house. That house is beautiful. Like, just when they did like the quick run through before they all started walking around, like when the camera did like panning across and the run through and showed all the rooms, and then showed the spread. Oh, dude, like, everything looks so good. Everything looks so good. If there's one dream of mine in life, my one dream in life, well, multiple, but the hell, there's a phone ringing. Anyway, my sorry, there was a phone ringing. I don't even have a phone in this house other than the one I'm filming on. Yeah, my one dream in life is to go on one of these trips, or go on a trip, I will say, and have everything catered for in that way. Like, you show up at a nice house, they have full on catering, they have food, they have everything, and everything's just amazing and beautiful. Like, good job, Cynthia, and good job to everyone that put it together. I love it. Obviously, I always laugh every single time they do this room allocations, because, like, obviously, the person who's in charge of the trip, or the person organizing it, it's her trip, so she then takes leads. Like, you go here, you'll be in here, you'll be in here, and then without fail, no one's happy with where they're going, and rightfully so, because in Shamia and Kelly's case, like, they put them in the little pool house, which I didn't think the pool house was too bad. But then once they started saying and showing things of like how like there were stains on the sheets or the pillowcases, and how the bathroom was dirty, which is why they didn't get to shower before dinner. So then they chose not to go to dinner, which that's a whole other thing in itself. I am glad that Cynthia was able to rectify it by getting the staff, or the mentioning to the owner to get staff to go clean their quarters. So that was good. In a way, it sort of reminded me of Real Housewives of Potomac last season, when they all went to Colorado to visit Angel, and Angel had them staying at this house, and there was like no hot water. And it was like that reminded me of that. But then you know what? The way Cynthia handled it, the way Cynthia fixed it, that was amazing. You know what? Hats off to Cynthia. That's how, in my opinion, it should have been done on RHOP. But we're not gonna go backward. That was last year, and Angel's not coming back next year. So next season, I meant. So it is what it is at that point. So obviously they do their room allocations. Kelly and Shamia get the little outhouse, um, or the two-bedroom pool house. I think Pinky is in a little outside house. I don't really pay attention, honestly. And then the rest of them literally just run off and pick whatever rooms they want. From what it seems like, all the rooms were beautiful. I would have been happy with anything, maybe not the pool house. Because I mean, for me, like if I was going on a girls trip like that, I would like to be in the house with everyone. I mean, they're not that far; they're literally just outside, but it's a lot nicer being in the same, like under the one roof. You can literally just walk down the hall, talk to someone. You can just bang on someone's door if you're, missing something. So that's why I would have liked to have been in the house with everyone, but it wouldn't have bothered me. But what would I know? I don't travel like that, so it's not like I would know what's going on. Let's see. Also, when they got to their room and Kelly was complaining about the room, and she had made the comment saying that the last time she had slept in a room like this was saying in high school, I believe. So, and she was saying how, like, though she's going through some sort of financial hardships, or her finances are like all over the shop, it's not that bad. But it's like, Kelly, I know that's what you say. However, we've seen the news on the blogs, we've seen the stories that are out there in terms of bankruptcy about, and then also your restaurant that I believe it was the one that you just opened and now it's closed again. Kelly, that's just my opinion. And also, them saying how she wasn't paying stylists allegedly last season, I believe. So, to me, I was like, Kelly, she might know something I don't know. Clearly, we'll just move right along. Obviously, so Angela, while they were in their rooms, I think that, both Kelly and Shamia then go outside, and I think they were sitting by the pool just having a drink or whatever. And then what's her name? Angela comes over. Angela comes over to check on them and see how they're going. And it was giving like Angela was the bone collector. Like she came over to just chit chat to see what the vibes are, sort of ask them how things were, if they were happy with their accommodations, and obviously as we saw, she sort of went back and mentioned to the other girls at dinner later. Um, so when it came, speaking of dinner, excuse me, it came to actual dinner time. It was so nice. They had like a full dinner planned around. Wrong. I'm thinking too far ahead. They had the chef there preparing dinner for them, which was so nice. Who wouldn't want that? Who wouldn't want that life? I love that. So Kelly, Kay, Michelle, and Shamia skipped dinner. Kelly and Shamia skipped dinner because they couldn't have a shower to get dressed. I probably would have done the same, but at the same time, they were in a big house. I don't know why they couldn't have just gone in and had a shower in someone else's room for the time being, and then gotten dressed to then go to dinner. Kay, Michelle, not having her glam there. I guess it's just how people express and present themselves. They want to look a certain way, especially in front of cameras. So I don't really blame her. Would I do the same? Probably, but I also probably would have asked someone else if they could, do my makeup for me or borrow their glam. So yeah. So yeah, that's that. I personally wouldn't. I mean, to each his own, whatever. Because I then didn't understand how the three of them refused to come to dinner, and then the three of them then were down by the pool, just sitting there chilling. Because it's like you could have just gone up to dinner. Like I get that you have your own process of how you want things to look, but I just didn't understand it because obviously in the end they then slowly walked in, which looked like production had told them like, nah, get up, you need to be part of this scene. Like you're here for this. This is work. That's just my thought with the way they all slowly walked in. I was like, what the hell there? Like they're just slowly creeping in like this, but oh, it is what it is. And also while they were out there, I'm not sure if they showed it in like a flashback scene or like an early scene, but it showed what's her name, Pinky coming out to check on them, and then they were there for a while. So I'm like, is this kind of like how the group is split? So you have Kelly, Shamia, K Michelle, and Pinky on one side, and then on the other side you have Portia, Phaedra, Angela, Drew, like 4 on 4. It's kind of like talls versus smalls, but there's no really. It's like mixed all up together. It kind of reminded me of those days as well. Um, Also, like, sorry, just to go back a bit. While they were sitting at the pool, Kelly then shares her story about obviously like her marriage and now the aftermath of her marriage and dealing with her husband or ex-husband now, the ogre that she's married to, and how he refuses, like he's basically blocking her from making money by stopping the girls, like the daughters that they share together, from being on the show. Like it reminds me of when Kenya and Mark were going through whatever they were going through, and Mark sort of really wasn't having it. Like he was basically blocking Kenya from having her daughter like film on the show, which I feel so sorry for Kelly. And obviously it's happened in the past well before we met Kelly, but I just don't see the attraction of why Kelly married this man, but it is what it is, and I really, really wish her well and wish this ogre all the worst, honestly. Um Also while they were at dinner, I guess Pinky sort of asks about like the room layouts and why Cynthia picked how she picked it, assuming that Cynthia picked the rooms based off like who she liked, who she didn't like. I mean, that could have been the case, but at the same time, I also feel like maybe production sort of wanted it to lay out like this because like they still have to do a job, they still have to run a show, so obviously in some ways they know this would probably raise some sort of conflict, this would raise a lot of questions, and then you have a show. That's just my opinion. I know nothing about production. I'm not in production. I'm doing my own damn production with a phone and a light on the tissue box. So there we go. Oh my days. Yeah, so Cynthia answers the way she answers, which I cannot remember. And then obviously Pinky asks more questions, and like obviously in a way it came across like, is she doing Belshemia or like Kelly's bidding at the table? Like that was so interesting to me as well. And then while they were talking about it, um, not a back and forth, but it sort of felt a bit tense. And then I think they questioned Portia about her relationship with someone I cannot remember. Oh, I need to remember. How am I supposed to get on these things and give a review without remembering things? I'm so sorry, I cannot remember. But what I did remember though was the way that Portia pivoted from whatever they were asking her about. Like that's a vet right there. She pivoted from her to Phaedra and Pinky, and like the comment that Phaedra, well, I wouldn't really say a comment. They were talking about how Pinky had a Jamaican restaurant before she currently has her vegan restaurant. And the way I took it as Phaedra was saying was like, oh, she used to have this restaurant and then now she has this restaurant. I just took it as like just a conversation piece, but the way that both Kelly and I believe Shamia are purporting to everyone is that, yeah, but she used to sell chicken, or see, she used to eat meat and she's a vegan now. Like, I don't understand the correlation between the two. I feel like they're trying to conflate two things into one. When I feel like, and look, I'm not a Phaedra fan, but I will say that in this moment, I can be fair as well. I felt like Phaedra was just saying that she had this business and then now she has this business. Like, it was just like stating a matter of fact sort of thing. It wasn't in any way shady. That's the way I took it. I could be wrong. Like, it could be the other way the other two think about it. So I guess we'll see, because Pinky obviously is taking like such offense to it. But the thing is, like, because it's one of those things that was said behind the scenes, or like in the background. Now it's being brought to the front to Pinky, and then Pinky's taking issue with Phaedra. But I also feel like she should also ask Shamia and Kelly, or Shamia, like, what was really said, like how was it said? Because I feel like context also does matter, and the way that someone does say something does matter, which is why I'm saying it seems like Phaedra says it in the like a storytelling way, like, oh, she owned this and then now she owns this, and then the way Shamia is retelling the story sounds like sort of like she's trying to conflate the two into, oh, she does this, like she's a vegan, but she had a business that sold meat, which I don't get. But you know what? They're making a show, do them, I guess. And it was also so sweet of Cynthia to come down and check on the girls that were sitting by the pool, Kelly, Shamia, and Kay Michelle. I mean, Cynthia is such a gracious person. She's very sweet, so that's what she would have done. It was nice of her to check up on them and let them know that she has done what she can or could do to rectify things, and things will be fixed. And they seem to take on her, I guess, apology or her like fixing the problem really. Um, Obviously, and then back at the table, Pinky and Angela go not back at the table, but obviously when Cynthia goes back, Pinky and Angela they go at it, and I will say, what is Pinky's issue with Angela? Like, what started it? Because it comes across to me like Pinky seemed very, very bothered. Like even when she stood up to leave, and then she then decided to turn around and come back and sit down to say a point or whatever. I don't know. Like, did I miss something? I felt like I probably did miss something, but yeah, like what is going on there? And then obviously Pinky says, I have multi-million dollar businesses, and then Angela says, yeah, multi-million dollar bills. I am done. I am done. See this right here. It took me back to Puerto Rico with Claudia and Nini in I believe it's season seven, when they're all at dinner, and then the two of them are going back and forth, and oh, spell bridesmaids. The S is not silent, honey. And then Nini's like, I'm very college educated. Oh, they are so funny. That for a moment they took me back there. This is why, like to me, Angela gives me old school housewives with just the way she comes back as well. And then Pinky, they were both going at it. I feel like it was even, but Angela kind of really nailed it at the end, if that makes sense for me anyway. Pinky said, I have a lot. Also, something interesting. Pinky says, I have a lot of money. My husband's paid. Well, obviously, her husband has a lot of money. But then my thing as well is like, okay, so you bring that up in this context of the argument, but then at the same time, you don't want to take your husband's money that he is offering you to help you to get out of whatever pit you're in terms of your business. Like, I don't understand. Like, obviously she's using it to brag in this argument, but then for me it's like, why are you bragging about something that you're really not utilizing, a resource that you're not utilizing? Like, it would make sense and it would hit even more if you could just turn around and be like, hey, at least I could turn around and my husband can give me X amount of money to pay off my debt, and I don't have to file for bankruptcy, unlike you and the homes you lost. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, to me that would have made sense, but she's masculine, I guess. That's what she said anyway. I'm not saying that, so. And then obviously Angela then brings up the fact that, so there's been stories out that Angela hasn't been paying her employers, or she's taking money from her employees, the people that work for her. Jesus, I'm having a Portia moment. Jesus, oh my days. That obviously Angela says that she owes money to the people that work for her, which was really, really interesting. And then towards the end, it was so funny when Angela goes, I can throw a rock and hit 10 people you owe. Oh, this is giving, like, the time of Nini, the time of Kenya, like season 6, season 7, season 8, season 9 backwards, because that is absolutely crazy. And then when Angela called her Mr. Clean and Papa Smurf, I could not deal. And you know what? Actually, Angela calling her Mr. Clean, that was what I was thinking of as well. Like the guy, Michael, I believe, that Portia fake date from episode 1 and 2. He gives me Mr. Clean. Obviously, like the bald head, the white teeth and everything, or the short hair, the buzz hair, I should say, which is what both Pinky and Mr. Clean, was he bald? I don't know, I can't remember, but that's what the vibes was giving. And her saying Papa Smurf made me think of Peter when they would say Peter was like, I don't know, Uncle Peter, as in Cynthia's ex-husband, Peter Thomas, when they said he was Papa Smurf / Uncle Ben. Oh, and then, as I mentioned, like not even a few minutes ago, the way Kelly, Shamia, and Kay Michelle walked in, it literally gave like, because obviously I think they could hear them from where they were, they could see something was up. So I don't know if they came to check on them or did production send them up there, because literally the way that they were made to go up there and go and sit down. I was like, oh my days, production sent them because this is a scene. You're here to work. What are you doing sitting here? So I guess. Um, when Pinky says to Angela that Charles doesn't like her, I mean, okay, the way Charles' accent is with Angela, it comes across like that, but we can't really say that. So it was still funny though. And then Angela says that Pinky has a wife in the basement. I'm like, I am done. Like, is there rumors of Pinky's sexuality or Pinky and Derek, or even Derek's sexuality, or like their marriage being open or their marriage having like multiple people involved in it? Like, I don't know. Like, it was very interesting that she said that, and I mean, I can't see that. I mean, you genuinely can't. You don't know like what people are like or what's going on until you know what's going on, really. But that was pretty much it, really. Like, it was a very entertaining, interesting episode. They had just got to Dallas. Obviously, I guess next up will be the actual gala itself. And also, while they were at dinner, Cynthia did mention that I think the gala was like they're gonna have like taste testing. It's like a tester or taste tester for her tequila, which is why she had the girls there as well as all the who's in Dallas that she's inviting. And the girls, she extended the invite that they can bring plus one slash their partners or whoever they wanted with them. So I thought that was good, and I'm looking forward to this gala. Like, I think it'll be very, very interesting. I'm looking forward to see how things progress. But yeah, that is it for me. This was a very good episode. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I enjoyed the back and forth between Angela and Pinky. It really gave me old school housewives. Yeah, so let me know what you think. Please like, comment, share, subscribe if you choose. If you have anything that you would like to recommend for me to make my channel better or my reviews better, as literally I'm only starting. This is like literally my first season reviewing. I've been watching the show since it started, but it's something that I just recently picked up to do a review. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you all for making the time. I love you all. Have a good night, and I will see you all next time.